Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the European Racing Series Grand Prix here in Abu Dhabi. I'm Ben Regger McConnell, and joining me to say goodbye to this wonderful season we've had so far is Jess Games 95. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn good indeed, to be honest. I mean, it's the final race of the season. It's been an incredible season so far, and we've still got one final race left to go. And I've had some slight little suggestions, I guess, inside gossip, that everybody is going to struggle today and that no one is prepared for what is about to be the best send-off for the season that we've ever had.
Yeah, and it's one of those tracks where it could be where the two-stop might work, the one-stop might work. I like mix of strategies used in an Abu Dhabi circuit. It's the first time I've ever experienced Abu Dhabi on this game. And we've got 16 drivers turning up for the season finale and the final race of the decade as well, so it should be interesting.
It should indeed. So, looking at the sky, nice and dry, not quite the surprise. We have seen rain here in the past, but not today. I've got some people leaving the session, but we do have a couple of people on the way out. Fragioko is going to be the first of many, I assume. But Jess, straight off the bat, I want to hear it. What's your 1, 2, 3?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yeah.
Well, Yonti's been looking dominant all season. He's already wrapped up the title ages ago. He's got a lot of wins already this season. But he didn't win. I think he wasn't here in Brazil, I believe. But I still think he's going to take the win today. And then I'm going to go Brownie. And then I'm going to go... Oh, third place is a tricky one. So some of these drivers I don't have a clue. I'm going to go for Mizzo.
Okay. I mean, he is quick. Let's not take anything away. I think Mizzo is fast, but honestly on this track I have no idea. I've got no previous race experience with any of these guys on this track other than in 5-lap lobbies, and you can't really count that as anything. Mizzo has been fast, let's be honest. His race pace is exceptional as well, so I think he's probably someone you want to watch more in the race than in the qualifying. Dan, again, someone else who can properly deliver in the qualifying, but honestly, I think Mark is going to take pole today. He's just really impressive when it comes to the qualifying pace. His race pace still leaves a lot to be desired, and it's more his consistency that causes the problems, mainly due to penalties and or crashes. If Mark can keep it under control, if he can seem to get the flow just right, I fully expect him to not only get pole today, but also get himself in a really solid podium position.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We all have different opinions, and usually my predictions never go well in qualifying, and neither do yours. So,
no.
I think it's a shot of the duck with this one. And this circuit is kind of different in a way, whereas the start-finish straight is not a DRS zone, whereas in most tracks it is. So they're not going to rely on the start-finish straight for the DRS zone to make some overtakes, but we could see some others along the other straights as well. So that is one thing that's so different about this track, and there's one thing that some drivers may find a bit difficult and some drivers may find it a little bit more fun. Turn 8 is a DRS zone as well, so we probably see a lot of overtakes there. And yeah, we've got quite a few people on the softs at the moment, so I'm suggesting they want to start on the soft compound tyres right off the bat.
Yep, lots of softs all around, lots of hards, lots of mediums. I'll be interested to see if any... I say lots of mediums, only one. I'll be interested to see if anybody goes for any alternate strategies. I'm kind of looking at Brownie's position here, because he's the guy who would chuck in that random strategy, but quite often does work out for him. He'll go for the harder tyre in the qualifying, take that sacrifice of him qualifying a bit slower than everyone else, but making it work later on when it comes to the race and properly smashing in some very valuable points. It's always very scary when you know Brownie tries this strategy, because you can guarantee when he gets on that softer tyre, his pace picks up, he really closes in the gaps and really starts to work his way through the positions. Now, we do have Copy, the only person left on an outlap. We do need to do a hot lap on this track. We'll do that shortly, as Duxby has been the first person across the line and then very swiftly beaten by a full second by Fragioko. I think next up is going to be Flyer. Let's see now. Oh, no, there's somebody else ahead of him. That is a Toro Rosso, I believe. So we're looking at Dan or Rocky. It was neither. It was Duxby. Here comes then Flyer. He's done a 1:35.651, so he's a second and a bit off of Fragioko's pace currently. He's sat in P4. Let's see if he can actually improve that. Still tons of times. It's not even a worry if he gets a slow time. But Mizzo, I think you were right about Mizzo. 1:34.021. That is incredibly quick. Half a second faster than Fragioko's time. We're still waiting to see a few others do a lap.
Yeah. The only experience that I choose to go with my predictions usually is based on other tracks as well. But I can think of Malaysia being something similar to Abu Dhabi in a way for some reasons. Shame that Malaysia's not on this track anymore. But one thing I can guarantee is for most of the time it's not going to rain. So they're most likely going to practice the dry setup today. But the game might throw up some surprises, or the lobby host may decide to chuck a bit of rain down there and make it custom. You never know. But yeah, everyone's almost about to finish. I think everyone's going to dive into the pits. I think we're going to have to wait for a hot lap in our next stint. So I think we're a little bit too late there.
Yeah, Copy's currently out on a hot lap, but he's pretty much halfway around, so we can't really run it on from here. Although, he does look pretty comfortable. He's still going for that Mode 4, and he has really stepped his game up as of late. He doesn't have his usual compadre, being Max, for this league anyway. His usual compadre in every other league is at Nickturn. But today, he does have Danny alongside of him, who has done a lap on the mediums. It was invalidated, that's why it's not counted. Still, again, lots of time to improve. No real worries at all, to be honest. 12 minutes remaining of the session. Lots of track evolution left to go. But Copy now. A couple of corners left to go. Just needs to keep it tidy, maintain this level of consistency, and I think this might even be the fastest time. Here he comes. No, it's close, but it's a 1:34.549. Puts in P3.
Not bad from him. Obviously, he has some time to make up, so I'm surely he can get into maybe the 1:33. Surely Mizzo want to look out for as well. Yonti hasn't set a lap. Well, he has set a lap time, but he's on the hards at the moment, so I could expect him. He might go for the alternate. It's the last race. He's got nothing to lose. He's won the title, so he may go a little bit ambitious, as well as some of these other guys as well. They want to end this year and this decade on a high as well. So, but. Yep. The question is, I wonder who's going to do the 2-stop and who's going to do the 1-stop. We'll have to find out a little bit later on.
So Danny's done 2 laps now, and he's invalidated on both of them. So that's sad times for him. Does still have the opportunity to, again, go into the pits, reset yourself. Don't worry about the issues you've experienced. You just need to focus on what you can fix for the next lap. Duxby has started an out lap, so I think it's only right that we go to him to do a hot lap when he gets through to the relevant area. Do you see... Is that Copy? Yep, Copy's coming through. He's done a lap already. He's just coming for the reset.
Yeah, I think the only ones on the lap is Duxie, Flyer, and Rainbow. But Duxie is third on the lap. They're all on the soft though, so it is a bit early to sell a lap for them. But I guess they just want to get as least traffic as possible, because it is key around LBC is quite narrow, so they don't want to get stuck in traffic. So I think they've done the right thing to go out now, and then if they mess up, they've still got a few more chances.
Yeah, definitely. It's Duxby doing everything he can to warm his tyres up, ready for this glorious hot lap. He was one of the fastest initially, and then everyone else started chucking times in, and suddenly he doesn't look that quick at all. He's a full 1.5 seconds off of Mizzo's time currently. Again, that's a 1:34.021. The next fastest is a 1:34.409, so 4/10 is the gap between Mizzo and Rocky. And they're both on the same tyres, so it's not like they can use that argument. It's just somebody found pace, or at least somebody had a good lap.
Yeah, it must be. I'm quite surprised on the deficit between first and second at the moment, but just look at the gap between third and fourth, between Copy and the Ferrari as well. That's pretty close, and also fifth and sixth are pretty close together. It's just Mizzo's dominating, and Duxie V's about to start a lap now.
Yep, here he goes then, down the home straight, all the way up towards turn 1, no DRS, he just needs to brake about halfway between the 100 and the 50, which is about 75 metres, get nicely down to gear 4 and take turn 1. Here comes 2 then, and 3, very easy corners, keep that foot planted all the way down to the bottom as you come up to the hard braking zone. Brake about the 100 metre board, clip the apex on that one and the next, don't run too wide though, easy to invalidate, and this is a very tight hairpin. Now you've got the longest straight on this track. DRS and slipstream will be huge going into the actual race itself, especially if you want to get those overtakes. You've got to watch out for the inside though, because many people will send it as you come up to yet another hairpin. So brake hard, about 125. Brake really tightly, get yourself right down to gear 2 and clip that apex again. Don't get the exit too wide, as we saw not last year, but the year before, not this year, sorry, last year, where we saw Hulkenberg have an accident with Grosjean and went upside down. Now another DRS zone here. Again, final ditch attempt to retract anything. And brake hard into the left-hander. Then you got a very tight chicane. Get that nice, don't run too wide on the exit, very easy to do. Then the left-hander, clip that apex again, don't run too wide, but make sure you get all the track being fully utilised here. Double right-hander into a nice hard braking zone. Very fun area of the track, but easy to get very wrong. Now you got a very slow part of this track. Left-hander, followed by yet another left-hander, and then you have a quick sprint to the last 2 corners now. Make sure you get this one just right, don't run too wide again, easy to invalidate, and the final corner as we come round, Duxie B. Will this be fast enough? It's not a 34.0, it's a 34.7, so he does improve, but it's still not enough to get near Mizzo's time.
He improved quite a bit on in the second sector, but he lost a bit of time on the final sector. He still improved on his overall lap time now, as I think Mizzo is setting another lap as well, and he's spun a little bit, so he's not going to improve, and he's retired, interestingly enough. That's worrying for Mizzo, because there's obviously the track evolution, as we talked about earlier. It's definitely quite vital around here. So I think getting pole for Mizzo is going to be very difficult. We're seeing Fragio. I can't even pronounce his name.
Fragioko.
I almost got it right. He improved to a P2, so not that far behind. He could be a major contender to knock Mizzo off the top spot pretty quickly as well. I'm just seeing if anyone else is furthest on a lap. Yonti's crossed the line. He's improved a bit on those hard times. I'm surprised he's still on the hards though, but I'm guessing he just wants to have a bit of more of a feel of the track. He's not that confident yet to go on to the mediums or maybe onto the softs, but we'll see as the session goes on. But really shocked on Mizzo right now, but I'm guessing he just made a mistake coming towards the final corner. He probably put on the power a bit too early, and that's what's costed him.
Yeah, Dan's also retired, so he's had a bit of an issue there. Look at that, 134.830, and somehow he's had an off. I don't know what's happened to him. I can't see anything. Yellow flag here, though. I wonder if it's somewhere nearby.
Yeah, I saw it. It was just before. I think it was the third to last corner was where Dan retired, and that didn't really help Beaker on his lap. But I guess Beaker was on the in lap anyway, so. Yeah. If he was on the flyer, that wouldn't have helped Beaker because he would actually have moved out the way. But that was where he retired anyway. So shame for Dan, but hopefully he can recover in the race, and he may get free choice of tyres if the likes of Beaker, Brownie, and Yonti improve, which will most likely be unless they keep onto those hard tyres.
Yeah, potentially. So Danny is on a flyer. He's only just started, so we'll come back to him in a second. Let's go check out his teammate, who is actually out there and on Sector 3. Is a little bit down on his time. That's a 10th up I just saw in the Delta on the top right. So it is suggesting that this isn't going to be as quick as he needs to be. He's currently sat P4, does need to improve by half a second and a bit more if he wants to take pole position, which he has a chance now that Mizzo is out. And yeah, that time did improve slightly, but it just isn't enough for him to get up there into that, even the top 3. He's only a few hundredths of a second away. Still, that's a few hundredths of a second that you currently don't have. Got to find it somewhere. Danny go though, coming up to the third sector, sorry.
Yeah, Danny's the only person not to set a lap time, and it is very crucial here. If you do one-shot qualifying, it is very difficult around this circuit, because if you mess it up, then that's game over. So Danny has only a few more chances. He's got to set a lap at this very moment, and he's not using the highest ERS mode possible. So I'm guessing he's got more in the bag just yet. So he probably will be going into the pits at the end of this lap to try and get another lap in as he goes towards the penultimate corner and into the start-finish straight. Let's see what time he can improve. Will it be validated? That will be important.
Oh, he's done it.
P11 now. So he's the slowest of the soft runners with a 1:35.1.
Yeah. It really is not looking too good for Danny then. He's going to be 3 tenths off of Rainbow, who's ahead of him, and that's for P10, remember. So to get in the top 10, he's going to have to really find some pace. And then again, he only has to improve by a little bit after that to sort of jump the likes of Dan and Spicy, and that's where you're getting a little bit closer to the front runners, which is good. But currently, you just don't have that. Find that 3 tenths. Get that little bit extra from your car, and you might actually see yourself quite far up, a lot further than you originally anticipated. Brownie then. on the mediums. Again, like we said, he's the kind of driver who would absolutely go for this strategy, and it looks like it seems to be the alpha strategy. As you can see, both the Haas drivers and the McLaren drivers have decided to do the same thing. Mark involved in this as well, which is quite strange. He's usually the kind of guy who will just go flat out pace and look for that fastest lap. Today, it's a 1:35.4, and he's currently the fastest on the mediums, but I think we're about to see that get changed around just a little bit.
Yeah, I think we will, and I've seen in some other races in the F1 2019 game where people were qualifying so low down on the alternate strategy, and the people on the softs may have dropped down a little bit due to tyre temperature, and that helped them climb their way up the field to possibly P4 or 5. So maybe that's what Mark is thinking right now. There's no sign of him changing tyres to the soft yet, so that's probably what he's committed. Maybe he might find a bit more time on the medium. And I think Brownie and Yonti are the only ones on the alternate strategy, still on the mediums at the moment, so they're going to commit to that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's going to look good for Spicy though. He's just chucked a nice hot lap in. He's jumped up to Mizzo's area, but still a tenth and a bit off there. 1:34.146 is Spicy's time, and bear in mind how early Mizzo set that time on the board. You know, that's incredible that Mizzo's still holding that first place spot. Might even get it. I mean, if he retired voluntarily, that is a huge. You know, that guy must waddle when he walks. To have a a pair of cojones that big, to smash out a 1:34.0 and say, well, that's it. I can't improve on that time. That was easily my best time, and no one's going to touch that. Job done. I'm out of here, and then just retires. Goes to the qualifying. We don't know. I didn't see him crash out, but I also didn't see him do anything else.
He spun.
Ah. They
spun at the start-finish straight.
Now, Jess, I've actually been told that this man right here in the Alfa Romeo, Flyer 634, who's currently off track because he's on an out lap, I've been told that this person is a hidden gem. I've been told that this is someone you can't count out of either the race or the qualifying. So we'll have to keep an eye. I'm assuming it's going to have to be race pace because his qualifying pace is just a bit off the current pole sitter. 1:34.0. He's done a 1:34.583. So he's got a fair bit of room to improve there from a qualifying perspective. But remember, in qualifying, that doesn't gain you any points, right? You know, you get a point in the fastest lap in the actual race, but in qualifying, you don't get anything other than bragging rights. So he's got a lot to do if he wants to really push it in. We'll see what he can achieve.
He's got Duxie ahead of him though, so he's going to hope that he could either get past him or try to keep on the same pace as him. But I haven't seen Flyer race, but from your calculations and my predictions, he's probably good on this track. And there's obviously one track that we all grow and love and probably practice quite a lot to get right, and I think that's what Flyer wants to do. But he's still quite close. We've got Bagioko, who has retired as well. I think he can't improve to Mizzo's time, which is probably impossible. Oh, we got Dennis, 1:33.8. So Dennis has snatched pole position from Mizzo already by 3 tenths. Wow. Or 2 tenths.
How is Dennis up there? We've seen him struggle so much this season, but this track just seems to be a track that he absolutely adores. The last few races, I've seen Dennis really step his game up, and honestly, I'm so glad. It's about time we got to see this. He's retired because he knows it's over and done with. Doesn't need to improve. 5 seconds remaining of the session. There's cars packed on the outside of the track. I believe that's Brownie, who did a fast lap on those medium tyres. Spicy will not be able to improve. He's done and dusted. Dennis, then Mizzo is currently your top 2. I'm looking at...
not improving either.
He's backed out.
Yeah, so maybe he might improve in the race. I'm looking at Copy now. I'm just seeing if Copy is on a lap.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So I'm just keeping an eye on who's on the laps. We've got Copy. I think we've got Copy's teammate Danny on the final lap as well. I'm just seeing Beaker's on the lap as well. He's going towards the next DRS straight to see if he can find some more time as well. I did see someone go off. I think that was, that was Juxie. Yeah, Juxie B. I don't think he can't improve either. So there's only a few people that can snatch a pole from Dennis. I'm quite shocked, to be honest, but I'm proud at the same time. If the final race to get pole, and he hasn't got pole for most of the season, this is the race to do it. And that'll be a way to mark off the decade, to get the final pole of the decade in the RS. That'll be amazing.
Yeah. It would be amazing to see. Here comes Beaker then around the final few corners. Is he going to be quick enough? He's on the medium, so he's not looking at the fastest, but is he going to be on par with Brownie or near about? So here he comes in. He's not that fast. Yeah, he was actually faster. He invalidated there. I think. Could be wrong. Danny, though, he's currently there in P14, currently on soft as well. He's actually coming up to the line. One more time then for him. Copy couldn't really move anywhere. Stays P5. Here comes Danny's teammate. He goes P12, but still not enough. And that's the end of qualifying. So Dennis on pole position. Mizzo there, right there on the front row of the grid with him. This is going to be a very exciting race.
Definitely an upset. We thought that Mizzo was going to get pole. He had the pole position spot for such a long time. And then Dennis is just like, okay, see you later. If you can go on the 134s, I could do one better. I could go into the 133s.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done to Dennis. I'll just quickly go through the order. We've got Dennis in first, Mizzo second, and we've got Spicy third, Rocky fourth, Copy fifth, Bud Yoko sixth, Rainbow seventh, Flyer eighth, Brownie ninth, Duxie start on the top 10. They'll be starting on the tyres they qualified on, and I didn't see the rest.
Well, the thing is, everybody outside of those top 10 does get the opportunity to choose whatever tyres they want to go onto, okay? So, yeah, it's a 50% race. It's going to be a long one, so strategy is key. And if they can choose the right tyres that they go onto, I think the ideal sort of scenario is if you're outside that top 10, go for the hards. Go for the hards. Take yourself far enough to be able to go into the mediums. That's providing that, you know, that you actually have that much degradation. I'm looking at this track, and I think it does actually wear quite a fair bit, I believe, on the tyres. These guys will know. They know much more than I do. These guys drive on these tracks all day long, every day, and that's what makes them so competitive to see. So they are on the grid right now, prepping themselves, choosing the fuel that they want to start the race on, choosing the strategy they want to go on to for those outside the top 10, and those inside of the top 10 are really just trying to visualize the run up towards turn 1 and the few corners after. The key here is going to be making sure you don't get any damage, making sure you don't get involved in any incidents, and just try and keep as clean a race as possible, and remain as consistent as possible. And knowing this track, I think we're going to see a lot of penalties.
Yeah, I think so as well. We've seen quite a few tracks in ERS where penalties could decide the race win or possibly a podium as well. So they just got to give it their all tonight. So we've got the top 8 that are on the softs. And we got Brownie on the mediums and Duxie B on the softs. More interestingly, we've got more people outside the top 10 opted for the mediums, which is Dan, Danny, and Beaker. And we've got Yonti and Juzlab on the hards. And we've got Mark, the only one outside the top 10, on the softs. Now, that's a bit of a gamble for you outside the top 10, but he's probably thinking that he could stretch the softs a little bit before going on to either another set of softs or another set of mediums, I don't know. But softs, probably looking at a 2-stop strategy, I reckon. But if you want to do mediums, probably a 1-stop. But again, as Ben said, we don't know this track as well. The other drivers do. So, yeah. But I'm going to say, even though Dennis is on pole at the moment, I don't think he's going to get the win. I think Mizzo's going to jump him. I think Mizzo's going to take the win. And it's going to be a Mercedes 1-2, and I think Cobby's going to get P3.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I feel like we're overlooking someone, and so my prediction is going to be a little bit different to yours. Okay. I think Mizzo up there on pole. I think he will take that win. Not on pole, sorry. He will take that win. P2 it's going to be a tie-up really between either Spicy or Copy. Depends on who. I think one of them is going to have a bad race. I just don't know which one. Spicy can be quick. Copy really struggled today, so I think Spicy will actually take P2. But I'm actually thinking that Brownie will take P3. I think penalty is going to play a huge factor. He is captain consistency now. He's kept that title for quite a while now, just judged on how well he's driven overall. And so I actually think that Brownie will make it onto the podium step with the fact that he's starting on the medium tyres and was faster than anyone else on those mediums. I think he's got a lot of hidden pace. We're about to find out though, as everyone's rolling around that final corner, getting ready to go again.
I have to agree with you on that one, because obviously last week in Brazil, Brownie actually ended up winning the race by 2 seconds over Beaker, so he's looking to carry on that momentum from last week and see if he can get up there, aim for the top step or possibly the podium for this week, but 9th place is going to be difficult for him.
Indeed, right then. So we're just waiting for the final cars to get into their grid boxes, and then it's going to be good racing times here in Abu Dhabi to say goodbye to the season here in the European Racing Series. The lights are on, and when they disappear, It's go time here in Abu Dhabi, and Dennis gets away beautifully. No hesitation from him. In fact, Mizzo bogged down so bad that his teammate is actually battling with him. He's actually going to take the outside in towards turn 1, but Mizzo will hold it. This is allowing Rocky to get involved in here as well, looking for the opportunity to close in here and see if he can gain anything. Lots of changes further downfield. People just shuffling around a little bit. Beaker's done well. He's up in a P12, and there's a lot of battling, side-by-side action coming into it. Oh, there's a Haas that's gone off wide. Another Haas almost went into a racing point. There's the Renault coming around the outside, and that's Danny trying to fight Beaker. And Beaker just about holds him back, keeping it nice and clean. Yonsi's had a horrible start. He's all the way down into dead last. Those hards are really not working for him.
No, it's not. He went a little bit off there as well. He nearly went on into the runoff area, which is not where you want to be. So he's now dropped 3 positions, but Juzlav drops a little bit too. So we've got a Duxie B trying to gain as well. There's a little bit of touch in there. I think they're going a bit argy-bargy at the moment. This is probably never ending for these guys, but they got to be careful this opening stage because it's not over until the checker flag falls. The race is not over in lap 1, and some of these guys are just might be prone to making careless mistakes if they carry on like that.
Mark! No. That was
Mark's
a big mistake.
As like we talk about mistakes, Mark spinned it, and he's now on dead last now, so yeah. And he was on the soft, and a person that I was gambling that has he chosen the right tyre? I don't think he did, and that is the consequence for him starting lower down and on those soft tyres, so he'll probably have to pit.
Yeah, indeed. So Mizzo working his way towards Dennis. Look at that. The gap is really tight between them. Actually, Spicy's right here as well. So the gaps are actually relevant for them two at least. Now they're not. So it's no longer 1.3. They are very close to each other. Oh, a bit of a lockup there from Spicy. That is very uncharacteristic from him. He needs to rein that in a little bit on this track where it will become very apparent. That's why you're seeing these guys try these hards, try these mediums, because they know how bad it can be. Brownie, though, he's looking good. If we look at places gained, Brownie is tied with 2 of the people for the biggest winners. It's Brownie, Dan, and Beaker, all gaining 3 places. And the biggest losers, sadly, seem to be Flyer, who's down 7 places, and Mark, who's down 1 place. And they're actually going to be battling on the exit, then, of the pit lane. They've both gone together and both come out together. Dan and Mark's took a much wider line. Listen to that roar. I love that pit lane. Every time we get to see it, always makes such a good noise. But here we go then. So the battle for P1. Spicy's made a mistake here. It's actually going to allow Rocky to come for it. Bit of a wobble there from Spicy as well. In the slipstream, no DRS yet because we're only on lap 2. Who's going to battle out this one? He's looking for the inside line. There's not enough gap there. Spicy holds his line perfectly. You could argue he's over defending because he's moved a few times already. And Rocky is trying to find a gap. Spicy is trying to hold him off.
Wow, this is getting absolutely intense between the top 3, and also we're getting a really spicy battle emerging from the other Toro also, of Dan as well, right behind Rainbow. He was a little bit too further back to make the move a couple of corners to go when there was a DRS straight, but he's absolutely looking ever so racy now, as Mizzo's taken the lead. Mizzo's taken the lead from Dennis earlier on, and Spicy is looking pretty good over Dennis, so maybe Dennis must be struggling like I thought he was going to be. Yeah. So he's got to get his game up if he wants to stay there, but I have faith in him. I think he can keep that podium.
Oh, Spicy's already trying to snatch that away from him for P2 at least, and Dennis, he tends to drive these setups where the car is oversteering, and somehow he is still going, but Spicy is round him. Beautiful outside overtake there from him, and look at that. Copy's trying to get involved. 3-second time penalty for Rocky for multiple warnings, running off a bit too wide. He's got a side-by-side battle going on between Copy, but Copy has managed to get ahead now. So Rocky is into P5, Copy up to P4. Dennis down 2 places now. He's in trouble. Here comes Rocky then. DRS being a major factor now. We are on lap 3. He is teleporting just a little bit, but that is allowing him to get up ahead. And Brownie's right here on the back of this. He's ready to claim everything.
Yeah, Brownie being one of the biggest gainers, and one I definitely overlook. I shouldn't have overlooked him. He won last week, but that doesn't necessarily mean you could win this week as well. So, it's almost a crash there from the battle we're seeing right now. We're seeing a DRS train from like 3rd all the way down to 9th. So we can all see them in the same camera shot. Literally, there's no room for error there. Dan is closing up to Rainbow. And we've got Rocky getting close to Dennis as well. So the 2 Toro Rossos, they mean business. And oh no, Dennis has got a penalty. That's not going to help matters.
It really isn't. Rocky and Dennis both have the 3-second time penalty against their name, means that Copy and Brownie can easily just slip on by without actually having to pass them. Mizzo setting the fastest lap with a 1:38.848, so it's a good lap time initially, setting the benchmark for the others to try and keep up, and you can see they're struggling. 2.2 seconds is the gap, 2.4 now between Spicy and Mizzo. Mizzo looks like he's just going to run away with this now. Beaker and Duxie B, they're having a good old battle, and Beaker's up in a P10. He's already into the points, and that Williams driver is struggling.
Yeah, he is. I can see from the way that he's driving that he's not liking those tyres at all, so he may be forced to pit a bit earlier to go on to another set of the softs or the mediums, and then go on another set afterwards and probably forced to do the 2-stop. But Mizzo's just absolutely flying, and we've got Dennis going to try and make the move, actually try to defend past Rocky, and I think Rocky's got past him. Yes, he has. Yeah. So Dennis is now out of podium contention, and if he's not careful, he can lose another position. He's got Copy, Brownie, Rainbow, and Dan chasing him.
Yeah, Copy's already going wheel to wheel with him. This is going to be really tough for Copy to pull off. Dennis goes deep into the corner. He's managed to defend it, but that was a very last-ditch attempt, and he gets a penalty for corner cutting as well. That's really just put salt into the wound. Flyer has been passed by Mark, who's used DRS and the slipstream to its fullest. And now Flyer will be able to return the favour. DRS is available again on this next straight, so Flyer's not out of this yet. He may be down in P16, but that doesn't mean that the race is over. Like you said earlier, it's not won in the first lap. It doesn't win until the checker flag is fallen. And Flyer's going to take an outside line. Is he going to go for a flick down the inside? No, he's not. He's just going to hold the line. Mark has a little bit of a lockup. A bit too deep into the corner there, and Flyer's just holding on for now. Rocky's in the pits.
Very interesting from Rocky. So he was on the soft compound the tyres.
Oh! Sorry, Brownie almost just sent it into the side of Copy. He went deep in there and decided to back out again. I think that was very, very risky from Brownie. He pulled it off in the end. He hasn't overtaken him, but he kept himself clean enough. Oh, wow, that was a big air from Rainbow. I just saw him catch the curb and he lifted off the ground, but somehow he's absolutely A-OK. But that would have given him a definite shock. So much of a shock. And that's actually allowed Dan to just get through the inside. There's a little bit of a wheel-to-wheel action going on then. Who's going to get DRS? I think it's going to be Dan. It is. Oh, they both have it. Okay, brilliant. So Rainbow's going to have to try and hold off from Dan coming up ahead of him. Copy's got past Dennis in that DRS zone as well. Dan's going around the outside of the chicane. A little bit of contact between the two. They are going to be touching right the way around. Rainbow's going to get a better exit because Dan made a big mistake on riding that curb. And I think it looks like Rainbow's going to have DRS and Dan is not, so Rainbow should actually get this position right on back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Rainbow's got it. No, Dan's actually going to challenge him. It's ever so close, very, very tight corner coming up. Dan is just, there's no room for error, and Dan is just polishing it absolutely perfectly there. And he's got that position back, and it just shows how skilled a driver he is. Meanwhile, Rocky that's just pitted, he's gone onto a fresh set of the medium tyres. So he hasn't gone onto the hards, onto the mediums, and Brownie is challenging Dennis for fourth position. So Dennis, if I was Dennis right now, I would do exactly the same to what Rocky did and go into the pit. Otherwise, you're going to get held up very, very quickly. I think Rocky did the right thing. And yeah, Copy and Dennis into the pits then. And Brownie staying out.
So I saw wing damage on the side of... Oh, well, I saw wing like on the track. And I couldn't work out what it was. It looked blue, and I thought, I don't remember seeing any Red Bulls over the front. Wait, we don't have any Red Bulls. I don't remember seeing any Toro Rossos at the front. It was Brownie. He has lost that right end plate, and he's gone seriously wide there. Took a very offline, and that's actually really hindered him now. He knows he's got very little pace in comparison to everyone else because of the fact that that wing is so damaged. You can't afford to lose it on this track, and Beaker, he's actually scrapping with Rainbow down the inside. Gets a much better exit. These mediums are suddenly on fire right now, and not in terms of temperature. They're battling wheel to wheel again. It will be Beaker who's going to lose out a little bit. Rainbow manages to get ahead, but I think Beaker might go for a full send here. He's going to go for the late break. He's going to be careful. He's pitted Rainbow a little bit. Rainbow's kept himself alive, but that was a little bit aggressive there from Beaker. Again, DRS will be a factor for Beaker and not Rainbow, but Beaker has so little ERS, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about this now.
No, he's not, but one thing that Danny has just done is Danny is still in 7th place, and he's going to try and defend, and he could possibly get Beaker as well. If Beaker doesn't make the move, Danny is one of those ones who decided to go on the mediums. And mediums is the best race tyre to be on because you have so much more grip, and you're going to fight for position. But ones on the softs, they're going to start to struggle. at the moment. But the ones who are not struggling on the softs are the two Mercedes drivers. They're still P1 and 2. They're about 9 seconds clear of Brownie. So that is why they're at the top of their game at the moment, and they're working together. We've got another one of the soft runners, Brad Joko in the Ferrari, into the pits as well. Is Duxie B going to do the same now? He's staying out. Yeah, I'm quite shocked that more people are pitting early than we thought, but you never know. And Dennis again gets a penalty. His race has just gone from bad to worse, hasn't it?
It really has, and I think honestly the fact that he had to pit so early as well, it just shows how hard he's finding it on this track. The softs do just fall apart on this track. Like I said, the degradation is pretty high, and that's what's caused a lot of the soft runners to come into the pits so early, and these medium runners to look so good so soon. Beaker actually made a mistake there. Danny has got better slipstream than Beaker, which is allowing this to happen. They both have DRS. Beaker's trying to hold the inside line. Danny is trying to take the outside. He has to back out because he ran out of track. Interesting that he chose the outside rather than the inside. I think he was thinking for the exit on this chicane, and Mark has gone.
Yeah, that was, I can't remember what turn it was turn 5 and 6, and he just spun, and then he just lost control of the car and he hit the wall and he's out. So what a shame. Meanwhile, Dan has just got past Brownie.
Yeah. That wing damage is just proving so crucial for Brownie. He's losing time as a result. Every left-hand turn is going to be a problem for him. He's going to really struggle to keep that aerodynamic grip laid out, and that's ultimately is hindering him. It's really, really costing him.
Yeah, which is a shame, to be honest, as we've both predicted that Brownie could possibly do well. Ben predicted, not me, but yeah, I've commentator's curse if that happens. But anyway, Beaker is looking impressive around this circuit. He must be loving life right now in that Haas car. But he's got Danny on the fresh of him as well. But the medium guys, they're going to run for a little bit while longer, and they have the flexibility of deciding what tyre they're going to go on to next, if they want to go on the 2-stop or the 1-stop. And Mark has left the session, which is obviously he's retired. And Rainbow is in the pits then, and he's onto the mediums as well. So looks like everyone on the softs is going on the mediums. Oh, Danny now, whoa! Beaker.
Oh no, Duxie B's gone as well. I just caught him as well. He ran off on the curbs and flew off into the wall. He is gone, and Beaker's got a big penalty. I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's got severe wing damage. In fact, he hasn't got a wing. That's how bad the wing damage is. He's also got 10-second penalty, so I can only assume that he had contact with Danny, and Duxie B just tried to avoid it. I can only imagine, and then off he goes.
That was absolutely nasty. Beaker was doing so well, but he just got a little bit too aggressive there trying to defend. But that means now Juslav just got past him, obviously, because Beaker has no wing. And obviously, Beaker had a brilliant race last week. So to have a race like that today, it's just heartbreaking to watch. And unfortunately, he's going to lose out so many points today over everybody else. Probably going past him too. And yeah, what a shame from Beaker, and even Dennis has got past him now as well. So Dennis is fighting back, even though he's in 9th place at the moment. He's on fresh and mediums though, don't forget. So
not over, but still along. You know, it's not looking too good for him. Too many penalties, too many mistakes, and then Beaker, yeah, just had even worse problems. Did have a lot of penalties, did have a lot of mistakes. Are they double stacking?
Yes, they are. They're both Mercedes. I think Spicy got hold up there. That was a gamble from Spicy. And both of them on the softs.
They're going for a 2-stop then. They have to. They've got no other choice. I can only assume it's a soft mediums. But I'm intrigued. The softs on mediums is a risky strategy because you have a lot of time that you can lose by that second pit stop. You know, we're talking, even if it was like 19 seconds, which I don't think it is in this pit stop, you know, you're talking a very, very long time that you got to try and regain that. You got to regain that somewhere on the track. I think the 1-stop strategy is going to be the more key one. It just depends on how fast you can feel on these softs and how fast you can feel on the mediums. Currently, Brownie and Dan, they're the fastest on the mediums, and they're looking real good. Well, Brownie was until that wing damage.
Yeah, but he's still keeping up the pace with Dan, which is very, very impressive. And as a driver, you got to learn how to carry on even with wing damage, and he is going. So it must have been a little bit minor that he has got, but he's probably going to lose a bit of time. But he's got Yonti on the hard 6 seconds behind him, so I think the pressure is off at the moment. But I'm guessing Brownie wants to do the undercut. Oh, and Spicy is just Oh, that was close and spicy there. And a little bit of lock up on that DRS straight. That's probably hasn't helped him a little bit when he was trying to get past traffic. And because Spicy got held up in the pit, Spicy is not close enough to Mizzo now. So Mizzo is way ahead of his teammate, and that's going to hinder Spicy more than help him.
Yeah, Copy and Dennis had a little moment there as well at the end of the DRS straight. Dennis did have a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between him and Copy, but it's still okay. No damage for either driver, no penalty for either driver. And Dennis takes a little bit of a wider line there. Copy a little bit out of shape, but he's just kept the momentum going, and that's allowed him to hold that position just for a little bit longer. Beaker with another penalty. He has had his wing replaced, has had hards fitted onto the car, so he will definitely be going to the end of it. But I also saw earlier a big 10-second penalty, so expect him to be outside the points today unless something major happens, like almost happened to Dennis there. Again, round wide. We've seen a lot of cars doing that. Lots of oversteer, I think, is what's causing that, and Dennis is very lucky to still be alive. Brownie is very lucky to still be fighting for P2. How is he doing this with that wing damage?
That is just insane, and he's getting about 2 attempts at that for a second there.
That was so risky. Rocky, and Mizzo. Rocky came over very last second to defend against Mizzo. Mizzo still made it through, even into the chicane, but Rocky almost lost Mizzo's front wing there. And again, here he comes then, back at him. DRS wing wide open. He's going for the outside line. This is going to be very tense into the chicane. Mizzo's going to hold him dead to rights, and that's all that Rocky could do, was just wait for that to happen. He tried his best. He didn't succeed, and Dennis is knowing the same feeling as he's on the back of Copy. Again, no changes just yet.
I'm glad you used that Coldplay reference on one of those songs. But anyway, and whilst that was happening, Beaker has unfortunately retired, so he was not going to get any points in this race, which is a bit of a shame. But he can use that to focus on next season, which is not that far away. And Brownie in the pits, so I'm guessing he wants to have a no damage to his front wing sooner rather than later. He doesn't want to lose as much time. And I'm seeing what tyres he's going on to. Looks like it's going to be a one-stop. Yes, it is. The hards for Brownie then. And there he goes out the pit lane.
Yeah. Mizzo again attacking Yonti. He's very close to the back of him now, ready for that overtake as soon as can be. The hards on Yonti is really hindering Mizzo. The traffic is just so much for him now. He's struggling. A little bit of contact there. He's trying to just nudge his way through. Now he's got the exit. He's going to be able to just get this done and dusted. He's already on the gearbox of the Haas driver. And now Mizzo's just going to cruise on past with no real issues. Yonti, though, is really giving him a run for his money, though. He's still keeping himself there and keeping him honest. Is Yonti going to be able to retaliate a little bit coming into the next DRS straight? Ultimately, when he gets on the mediums, he's just going to be an absolute bullet.
I agree. He'll be a powerhouse, and he'll be one to watch, I must say. So Yonti may still be the person for the points paying position, so that could be good. And I think Dennis has got past Copy, so Dennis must be having some fun in him somehow. He doesn't want to lose that many positions, but again, he's got some penalties, but he wants some glory on track anyway. Meanwhile, Rocky's going to see if he can get past Yonti now. He's got to make him. So now Yonti's definitely giving him a fight. Yonti's gone off. No damage, luckily, but looks like Yonti is going to try and help people up to help himself, so he can have more of a chance to try and get past them when they're on the medium compound of tyres. I think Yonti is forcing the ones on the mediums to push, so Yonti can push them easily when Yonti goes onto the mediums.
Yeah, it was very risky there from Rocky. He did send it down the inside of Yonti. There was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel touch, and that knocked Yonti just wide a little bit more than he necessarily wanted. That did cause him to lose that place, but ultimately he was going to lose it regardless. Anyway, so Fragioco is ahead of Rainbow. Rainbow is working his way towards him. Fragioco's at an oversteer. He's gone off track. He's gone. He's out into the wall. Big crash. That's where we saw Duxie B go. Exactly the same place. Exactly the same way. People oversteering, trying to counter it a little bit, getting onto those outside curbs, and that is another DNF then. So we've lost 5 drivers so far in this Grand Prix.
That's
and only
Mark
one of them.
As well. That's where Mark retired too.
Yeah, only one of them has actually retired without, has actually chosen to retire rather than a full-on DNF. So interesting to say the least. Right, Copy working his way onto Dennis then. We saw Dennis attack a Copy earlier. That pass has now been done and dusted. He's trying to recover anything he can get. The gap is pretty short, but I don't think there's going to be an overtake happening this lap. Maybe on the next if Copy can maintain the pace. But Dennis has been doing well for the most part, other than the penalties and the oversteer, which he's currently trying to battle all the time. If I was to place odds on who I think is going to DNF next, I would place it on Dennis, but only purely because he's just oversteering like crazy out of every corner.
And if that's the case, then and he's just almost oversteered again. And if that's the case, both Ferraris will be out of the points, and that would be really horrible. And I know the team down at Maranello will have words to say after this race. I can tell you that. So that would be a bit of a shame if Dennis could do that. If Dennis has to do that, but hopefully he can power through. He's on the mediums at the moment. He's got Copy and Spicy though nipping at their heels. It could be anyone's game right now. And Dan is on the hards as well. He's going to go mate to the end, and he just got past Juraslav as well, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Spicy. He's on the soft tyres. Remember, he's 4 laps in. These guys are on mediums. They are 7 laps in. The pace-wise should be pretty on point, except Spicy should be that slightly favoured, except he did not get the exit he needed out of that corner. Copy and Dennis have just gone. They've just took off, and Dennis under attack from Copy then. He's gone for the inside line. That's the very smart line to go for. Is Spicy going to get involved in this mix as well? He's decided to sit back for now, but he has got right on the back of this pack. Double car slipstream if they both choose to go for it. And he's again really slow out of it, whereas Dennis is not. Dennis is trying to fight with Copy. Copy saw what Dennis was trying to do and just quickly threw himself over to the inside. Dennis takes the outside. Copy is very much behind now. And Dennis with a very last second flick. And Spicy's getting involved in here as well. He's trying to get Copy. He just cannot get it. And Copy will hold that position. Spicy's tyres will have took a huge hit there trying to fight his way through that chicane.
That just looked insane, and it just goes to show people can capitalise on anyone's mistake. This is getting spicy from Spicy right now. He's been oversteering a little bit too much, and that might have costed him on Copy. But yeah, I think this could get really, really interesting between these two now. Spicy cannot afford to lose time. Spicy is on the softs, don't forget, so he will have to pit again. And if he's not careful, the softs will overheat like no tomorrow for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, indeed. Spicy is struggling. He's really not having the greatest of races. His tyres just keep cooking. His lines keep getting compromised, and that's causing him to make a mistake or two. You can see that he's struggling with the pressure a little bit, but ultimately he's still set up here with the big boys, and he's still battling with them, and actually might have an opportunity to gain Copy here.
I think so as well, potentially. It's not over yet, and you do have another yellow flag. Who is that for? Oh, it's a Flyer. Flyer's gone off at, I can't remember what turn it is. It was almost at the same place, but not quite the same place. But yeah, Flyer's not having a good race today either. As a few people in the chat were thinking Flyer was going to do well in Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, he is not. But I'm guessing it's more, I think it's more luck than anything. I think sometimes you do well at a certain track, sometimes you do not. And I think that's what Flyer is experiencing right now.
It sounds like it's a track that doesn't really suit his driving style. At least he seems to want to drive those oversteer setups in the same way as Dennis does, and it's just not a track that you can really do that. You need a lot of stability in the car, and it's a shame for him, really. It'd have been great to see him be the underdog and just smash it apart, but yeah, sadly today it's not gone his way, and sadly he's down there in P11. Still, potentially has points on the table as the two McLarens swap places. I'm not sure if team orders played a factor there or not. I highly doubt it, but Brownie did make it past him. Flyer's got a penalty added to his name as well. That's more salt to the wound, and Spicy's in 5 laps on those soft, 6 laps in total. He is going to have to switch and do his final stint. So 13 laps on these mediums. I think he'll be fine and happy on them. But his pace has been affected pretty badly there. I think he might actually lose out to Brownie. Yes, he is. I think he might even lose out to Jurislav, actually.
Yeah, Spicy and Mizzo, the only ones opted for the 2-stop strategy. Everybody else keeping to the 1-stop strategy by the looks of things, unless guys on the mediums will be pitting very soon. I don't know. And Flyer's in the pits as well, possibly due to his damage. He got a lap ago, and he's probably gonna fit onto I don't know what. Well, he has to go on a different set of tyres, surely, for the remainder of this race. I do believe he started on the softs though, so he should be all right. But I think Mizzo's just handling it a lot better compared to Spicy. I think Mizzo's just knowing when to keep a handle on those softs, whereas Spicy just pushing a little bit too much. And I think that just goes to show if you want to go on the two-stop strategy or not, it's mainly down to the setup and seeing if it's either oversteery or not. If it's too oversteery, then maybe the two-stop strategy may not work out for you. Maybe just go on the one stop just to play it safe. Maybe that's what Spicy should have done, but we'll see.
It didn't work out for him that well at all. I mean, he's still in this. He's not out of this at all. Those guys that are still on the mediums here, they will be pushing him to the end, and the tyres will start to fall apart. Jarislav did 14 laps so far on his hards, and yeah, it's not been the best race for him. He does have the opportunity to pit and go into softs, but I'm pretty sure he's just chosen to go hards to the end, which I think was what his end game was. Yonti and Dennis. Dennis is looking feisty. This is the area that scares me for him, though. Keep an eye on that steering wheel. He's even lifting because he's so worried about oversteering. And that's allowed Yonti to just pull away. He just doesn't have the aerodynamic grip that he needs to be able to fight everyone on this track. Keep an eye out as he comes down the home straight. He should be so much faster than Yonti for two reasons. One, Yonti's on hards still. Dennis is not. But the wings are very low for Dennis's car. That's the impression I'm getting, at least. Yonti's able to manage it through turns 2 and 3 very simply. Dennis is really closing that gap up. Oh, contact again. That was a bit of a nudge there into the back of Yonti. Nearly caused Yonti to rotate. Yonti's poor backside has been hit a fair few too many times this race. Yonti's trying to hold the line. Dennis is trying to get aggressive around the outside. He's going to get that position, I think. Oh no, he's not. Yonti's holding him dead. He's got a lock up there on the left-hand side. That's really put Dennis onto the edge. They are going to be will-to-will all the way throughout, and Yonti's still ahead, but still Dennis is battling. And they've come together one more time. Again, oversteer has been affected, and now Copy is ready to pounce. As soon as Dennis runs wide, Copy's going to be straight down the inside and into the attacking position, but not right now. This is an area of the track you can't really send it. We did see Rocky do it earlier, and it worked out for him just, but there was contact with him and Yonti. And Dennis ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Yonti come in now.
Yeah, he's got to really, to be honest with you. He's been held up so much, and I do believe that Dennis did as well. They're both going at the exact same time.
Dennis was looking to get down the inside there, and Yonti just try and snatch that physical position away from him. Couldn't quite get it. Might have the opportunity to beat him depending on how quick their pit crews are. Dennis is away, and Yonti is away. He's just ahead, so they stay as they are. Yonti will be battling with Dennis on the exit. Now, this isn't for a podium position, remember. This is to work your way towards it. You have 11 laps, 12 if you include the remainder of the one that they're on right now, and I think it's doable. I think it's definitely doable. Their pace should be phenomenal, but Spicy's looking really good now that he's on those mediums. You should be able to just take off and hold everyone back.
Yeah, meanwhile, whilst Yonti was pitting with Dennis, Mizzo's also pitted for his final stop as well, so he's on a fresh set of mediums. Don't forget, he started on the softs, then he pitted onto the softs, and then he went onto the mediums. So obviously, you have to go on a different set of tyres, otherwise you will get disqualified, and that's what Mizzo has done. He's about 2 seconds behind the car we're seeing, and we've got Yonti and Dennis fighting ever so again at the moment. It's just never ending for these two. I think Dennis is ahead on track at the moment. And we've also got Rainbow fighting Copy as well. There's just battles going all over the shop. And we have pretty much got 11 laps to go to see if any of these guys can do it.
Yeah, Yonti is trying to work his way towards Dennis, although he has got his DRS still in mode 4. So he's going to be burning that away. And there he goes. Now turn it down. Rocky getting another time penalty. So whilst he may be in the lead, I mean, he's just chosen to go into the pits. That will be affecting him a fair amount. Rainbow and Copy are battling. Although Copy is in the pits. He's also going to fall down the order. Mizzo is effectively going to be back into race lead position if Rainbow decides to pit. It's only if Rainbow can take these tyres another 10 laps, which I don't think you can do on this track with the mediums.
No.
That's the issues he's going to face.
14, 15 laps is how long you can push those mediums before you start to die. So yeah, Rainbow will need to pit next lap, because otherwise it's going to be pretty much game over. Everybody else who needs to pit has pitted, so Rainbow's going to be at a disadvantage. He's going to drop way down the order compared to his rivals, but he's probably got less penalties compared to everybody else, so he may gain quite a little bit. And don't forget, there's still fastest lap up for grabs, and Mizzo has got both. So Mizzo is now your race leader on track as well.
Yep. Mizzo looking good then. Rainbow had a big issue that's caused him to fall down the order. Brownie's just been passed by Spicy, so he's already starting to look a little bit more in shape. Dan, though, sat in P3 on those hard tyres. That's where Spicy will be so much faster. And if you watch those intervals, they will start to drop quite considerably. And Brownie's actually under attack from Rocky as well. Rocky, who is not afraid to attack in the corners, although he's attacking the corners a bit too hard. Gets another time penalty to add to his quite a large amount already. He's going to send it on Brownie. We saw him do this earlier on Yonti. Oh, a little bit of a nudge there into the back of Brownie. Again, it's worked out for him both times. You could argue it's a dirty strategy, and they've actually gone back at each other, and Brownie's just sent him to the outside. That's allowed him to get back through again. I think all's love in fair and war. And that did not work out at all for Brownie. He just got a little bit too out of shape in the second last corner, and this is allowing him to come in. They're going to be scrapping into turn one. Brownie's going to hold out that inside. There's no way he's going to surrender it, or has he? No, he's not. He's still beating Rocky to the corner, and Rocky will make it around the outside. Brownie will get DRS on that back straight. Will he be able to take it back, though? Should be able to, as I'm told. The hards are much faster on the straights because there's less contact with the ground. Science makes sense.
Yeah, I can see it makes sense there. So Rocky could gain places now, but when Brownie goes to the corners, then actually no, it's the other way around. Brownie can gain now, and Rocky could gain it in the corners. I'm getting mixed up on who's on the hards and who's on the mediums, but he's on the medium. So yeah, it is the last race of the season. That's my excuse. But anyway, Rocky doing ever so well, but I think I don't know who's going to be ahead. Oh, Mito's got a penalty.
That is a big penalty as well. That's his second lot now, so that's 6 seconds in total that I'm aware of at least. So Mizzo is in trouble. He's currently clear of Dan, so he's only really got to worry about Rainbow, and that's if Rainbow decides to carry those tyres all the way to the end, and if he can keep himself within that 6-second gap. I don't think he can. 11 laps already on those mediums means his pace is going to be dropping pretty quickly, especially with Mizzo, who's just going to be tearing away. Yonti, though, is actually doing pretty well to be in the scenario he's in. Dennis has got a lot of penalties, and he's running wide quite a lot. Yonti's working his way through the field slowly, breaking himself up to the back of the Ferrari. And like I said earlier, my odds are on Dennis to be the next person to DNF if we should get one. And that penalty there on Rainbow will help everyone else around much more than you think.
Yep, so I think I saw Rainbow got a penalty earlier, so he's now up to 6 seconds. So pretty much the same as Mizzo. So if they were going to fight for position...
I'm just watching Dennis. He's so nervous. He knows that's the area that he's going to fail on if he fails. He could tell that the car just isn't working for him in that area of the track. He's working everywhere else, sorry. It just looks like his on-throttle differential is just set a little bit too high. Every time he's stamping the accelerator, it's just bam, kicking the back end out. You can fix that with better driving style. Currently, it looks like Dennis isn't going to be able to fix that on the fly, so maybe he just wants to consider turning that transmission down a little bit. Here comes Yonti down the inside. Job done there from Yonti. Beautiful little send it there. Dennis will have the opportunity to come back at him, and with the fact he is so much closer to Yonti, this does spell disaster for Yonti. Dennis taking the outside line again because Yonti had to hold it. He's trying to just force him to the outside. Dennis will get it again. Yonti will lose it again. And all he has to do now is wait again to try and pull it back. I'm looking at the ERS levels. Dennis is so much more favoured right now.
Yeah, I think Dennis is looking a bit more, conservative at the moment, but again, when he knows that he can push, if he's confident in the corner, he will push. It's just that corner just before the first DRS straight where he's struggling, and it's kind of like Rouge in Belgium. Oh, that was a slide again from Dennis again. I'm guessing that's another corner where he's not confident. Oh, he was just twitching a little bit there. That's probably not gonna help him try and get. Got Rainbow in the pits onto the soft tyres as well, so actually no, he's the only person on the soft tyres, so he's in 9th for now. He's on 6 seconds worth of penalties, don't forget. We don't know about copy penalties, which I'll check in a minute, but he's probably going to try and catch up to copy as well. I think Mizzo should be fine where he is, 10 seconds behind Mizzo, so Mizzo was quite lucky though, as long as he doesn't get any penalties.
It appears that my co-commentator seems to be having some network issues and is lagging a fair bit, turned into a bit of a robot. Hopefully Jess can fix that soon, as we have a little bit of a move happening around the field. Brownie under attack from Dennis. Yonti on the back of it as well, looking for anything to try and clutch onto it. Loses the back end a little bit. Dennis gets a solid exit. He's really been smashing that. And now you can see Brownie's just really getting a little bit scrappy with him. That was a bit unnecessary there from Brownie. He just sort of turned into him a little bit. Give him a little bit more of a nudge. I think he was trying to force him to the outside. And that cost him way more than he originally wanted. Yonti on the back of this as well. Also, you got Copy, who's pretty much there too. Could very much easily gain on this if they were to have a DRS battle. All Copy needs to do is remain consistent. Remain close to the back of this pack. Wait for a mistake or wait for more penalties, and he's going to gain already. He's already going to gain on Dennis. He's already going to gain on Brownie. Don't think Yonti has any penalties though. So he's somebody else he may have to worry about. Physically passing them on track would be ideal if an opportunity should come around.
I'll check Yonti's penalties actually. Sorry about the internet issues, by the way. Yonti has 1 penalty.
Oh, he does? Okay. I don't think Copy has him, does he? Has he kept it clean enough?
Copy. Oh, okay. Copy's only got 1 warning. He got the warning in lap 3. So after lap 3, he has got no warnings and no penalties. So Copy is looking pretty good to possibly get position from Yonti and maybe the rest of the field as well if he can close up enough.
Well, he's actually going to gain 3 places as it stands. He'll gain Yonti, he'll gain Brownie, he'll gain Dennis, all of which have got penalties. Yonti's through on Brownie. Copy's looking for Brownie. This is going to be a big send, and I think he might have just overcooked it a little bit. He's definitely locked his brakes up a little bit more than he wanted. Brownie is still there, still fighting, but Copy, with a lovely overtake in the chicane, manages to get that pass done pretty smoothly, and already he's working his way towards Yonti. This is not going to be an overtake here unless it's another big send, but based on how much he locked up in that back straight, I think he saw better and decided, I'll just wait for the next lap.
Yeah, that's what I would do at this later stage of the race. We haven't got long to go until the end, and if you mess up now, it's pretty much game over, and Brownie can't afford to lose any damage to his front wing like he did earlier, because we've seen Brownie lost a bit of time earlier due to that, and he had to pit probably earlier than he was intending. That is why he's on the hard compound tyres.
Oh, Dennis!
Oh, Dennis is off! Dennis is off, no damage though. I think he might have got a warning for that almost certainly, because he's still managing to be behind Yonti. So I'm guessing that will probably...
Well, he actually lost the place to Yonti. He made a mistake. He ran wide. Oh, and he's going again. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. Dennis is struggling. He's kept himself alive. But again, that's what I'm saying. That area of the track is the area that he's really scared of. You can see it's affecting him. That oversteer on the car is costing him a lot, and his tyres now are really hot. He is going to be fighting that car so much. Watch on the exit. If he gets his foot down a bit too heavy, which he didn't, he would have had major issues. It's a shame because he has driven so well this race. Honestly, he's been fighting everybody and doing such a good job of it. It's just that little bit too much oversteer. He can't fix it in time for the end of this Grand Prix. And yeah, it's sad to see Dennis in this shape, but it's also great to see that he's really picked it up today.
Yeah, he was a shocker in itself when we found out he had pole position. But yeah, it's a shame that he's this low. If he's still in a... I don't know. It's depending on how Juraslav and Flyer are with penalties.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get points or not. We'll have to wait until the end of this race. Meanwhile, Mizzo, he's flying. 14 seconds behind Dan.
Yeah. He is on some next level pace right now. It is substantial how much pace he's got. I'm also thinking about Copy at the minute. So... Rocky has a lot of penalties. He's pretty much out of the podium, you can guarantee that. Spicy's the guy I'm thinking, I don't know how many penalties he has. Has he got any?
Spicy?
Yeah.
I will check. No. Spicy's got none. He's only got 1 warning.
So Spicy is in with a shot of potentially jumping, well, definitely jumping Rocky. I don't know if he's got...
Dan's got a penalty as well.
He is within that 3 seconds then. So yeah, Spicy will gain that as well. So it is going to be the Mercedes 1-2 that I called earlier. Here comes Rocky on down then. This could change things up a fair bit if either of them make a mistake. They are going side by side. They are teammates, remember. Rocky gives him way more room than he necessarily needed to. But that's good driving there from Rocky to be mindful of his teammate. And now just knows to go again. DRS being available to him does allow him to just slingshot up to him. And straight on past him he goes. Rocky into, well, P2 officially. But when those penalties take a factor, it will not be a P2 finish. He will be dropping down the field quite substantially. And Spicy's actually gained a fair bit as a result of their battling.
Yeah, a bit of an oversteer from Spicy, but not as much as the likes of Dennis did earlier on. So I think we both predicted Mercedes 1-2. I can't remember what I predicted, but I'm sure I predicted Mizzo and Spicy to be 1-2 in some shape or form in the race, and they're doing that. And it's just starting to get a little bit darker at the moment, and the lights on this game when it gets dark, it's just next level stuff. It's just great to see the last 3 laps of the decade in ERS under the floodlights with some great battling. Fasten your seatbelts. We are down to the wire here.
Yep, the final Grand Prix of the season. It has been an emotional experience for a lot of these drivers, mainly Yonti, who has actually won the Drivers' World Championship. It is all done and dusted. This is just more for glory points now. Dennis in the pits then has gone for a fresh set of softs. He's looking to get that fastest lap. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get out in front of Jurislav. He isn't. No, Dennis is actually behind him, so he'll still get P10. But he's just lost out on a fair bit of points. Dan in trouble. Spicy on the back of him. This is realistically Spicy in P2. Is Yonti... No, he's going to lose out. He's got penalties. Copy is realistically P3. So you may have nailed it bang on the head then. You might actually get a 100% prediction.
Who, you?
No, you.
I can't remember what I predicted.
You said Mercedes 1-2 and then Copy. Copy is currently penalty free. So Spicy will jump Dan. Although, how many penalties did Dan have? 1?
Yeah. Just 1.
Maybe not then. Copy might not.
I know. So I've got a few 100% predictions in a few leagues. Now I've got one. But If I get what, I don't know. I think Dan's going to stay P3, so that's going to go out the window. But I'm 3/4 of the way there. So actually, no, 2/3. That's it, 2/3. So yeah.
It's not over. It's not over. Spicy's still there. Could definitely get into a battle with Dan, and Dan could lose out. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Don't jinx it.
Well, this is for your 100% predictions. You'd be hoping I get it.
I know, but we're not. I don't want to be biased. I want to give drivers a fair chance. It's only fair.
Well, we'll see. Here we go then. So Rainbow is actually working his way on Brownie. That is not going to change anything just yet. But let's keep an eye on Spicy. He has got DRS. He is very much utilizing that ERS. Look how low that is. And he's only just up on the DRS. So this could be a major factor as we come up to the end of it into the hairpin. No position changes yet. But Rainbow's got Brownie. That's a position change for sure. Mizzo with another penalty. But that won't really change anything as he's just so far ahead.
I think he's still pushing though. Looking at his ERS, 19%. So I'm guessing he just wants to be comfortable that he's going to get the win regardless if he's got any penalties.
Yeah.
So he wants to end it on a high, and he's definitely going to end it on a high. And we're seeing some final battles start to emerge once again, even though penalties could change it. Brownie on the back of Rainbow as well. We've got Copy on Yonti, and we've got Spicy and Dan having a battle for the not for the podium, but for the podium on track at least. Yeah, potentially. Not going to change anything after that. He's going to see them drop down the order. Brownie working his way still, 15 laps on these hards. His pace has dropped off quite considerably, especially with the fact that Rainbow's on 5-lap old softs. He's really starting to nail it around. We are on the penultimate lap 27 of it, 28. Mizzo is still leading by a country mile and more. That's just how comfortable he's had it this race. Not entirely perfect. He's had a few penalties, 9 seconds in fact, but he's just so far ahead. He doesn't even have to worry about that. Rocky in P2, he's had a lot of penalties added to his name. He's really struggled in terms of
consistency, but when it comes to the outright pace, he has been undoubtedly one of the fastest on the track. So keep that in mind when we come to the end, as Spicy is working his way on Dan. Here we go then. This is what I was talking about. Second to last lap. Is Dan going to hold Spicy back? He is not, but he is going to get the cutback, which will allow him to get a better exit out of the right-hander. Spicy loses the rear and allowing Dan to get the wing open. Off he goes, powering it down now. Should be more comfortable, but he's going to have to take the outside line. Well, he has managed to get it back. Really well driven there from Dan. Spicy didn't really get a bit aggressive until that moment there. When he got into that chicane, he got right onto the back of Dan. Just tried to hold it, lost the rear, and ended up just a little kiss there onto the back of Dan. And now Yonti suddenly is much closer. And now this might be the prediction that we needed. Your P3 could come into factor here. Copy might get it. That gap has dropped substantially. He's right there.
Yeah, here he goes. He's still on the back of Yonti, and like we said earlier, Copy is one of the consistent people in this league. He keeps penalties to a minimum, if not none at all. So this could benefit him quite a lot. Rocky's got another penalty. He's going to drop down massively. We're on the final lap of 2019 in ERS, the final lap of the ERS season. And we had a bit of a roller coaster. We had our ups, we had our downs. But it is a final lap of racing here, and it is down. Who is going to get P3 out of Yonti, Dan, and Copy? Actually, no, out of Dan and Copy, actually, because Yonti's got penalties.
Exactly, it's literally down to them two, effectively, unless Copy gets a penalty, which is going to be a disaster for him. Here comes Spicy then, again, the same place on the track. This time decides to back out. It looked like he was going to send it, almost went into the back of Dan. Has managed to just keep himself on the back of it. DRS being a factor here, but again, a bad exit. That's really cost him. Yonti's coming for him now. It's going to be going wheel to wheel with him as we come up to the end of this DRS straight. Copy's not far off the back of this at all, although suddenly he's lost a lot of pace. No penalties on his car. Spicy and Yonti, he's locked up big style. Yonti has got ahead now into P4. Suddenly things have really got hot.
Things have really changed, actually. Spicy, he thought he had P2 in the bag, but he's got Copy behind him as well. Oh, we got the yellow flag. Who's that? Oh, it's Mizzo. He's pinned it across the line and he's won anyway. So, yeah, I guess he was trying to do some donuts, I'm sure, but to end the season. So he's the final winner of ERS, and we've got Rocky in P2 on track. Dan takes it.
Boom! 100% prediction. Well done, Jess. There it is. Well played.
And the last race of the season as well.
That's the good way to sign it off. Dennis will make it to the end of this Grand Prix. Oh, he almost didn't there. He had a very big wobble, but he is going to cross the line. He span it. He's going to argue it was intentional. It is the final race of the Grand Prix. And he definitely just didn't reset to track, honestly. And across the line he goes. Jarislav coming up to take the final point position, although he loses out to Dennis. Gains that position on Dennis because of the penalties he had. And Flyer comes across as well. Wow, what a Grand Prix, what a season, and to go alongside that, this is also my final race commentating for the European Racing Series. I am stepping out of the commentary booth and into the driver's seat. So next season, I will still be partaking in European Racing Series, but as a driver. So thank you, everybody, for being there. It has been an incredible pleasure to commentate for ERS for the last 3 seasons, I think it's been now. So it's been an emotional experience. I've really enjoyed every second of it, and thank you, European Racing Series, for having me. But it has been the end of that. It's the end of it's the end of a legacy. It's the end of it all. Mizzo will take that win. Spicy does take P2. Copy takes P3. Dan takes P4. Yonti in 5th. Brownie takes 6th, Rainbow takes 7th, Rocky takes 8th, Jarislav takes 9th, and Dennis takes 10th, with Flyer being best of the rest and the last remaining driver to finish, as our DNFs were Fragioko, Beaker, Danny, Duxby, and Mark. And that leaves me, for the final time in European Racing Series history, for me at least, Jess, who's your driver of the day?
It's a tough one. It's tough between... I would have to give it to Copy. No penalties, and he managed to stay out of trouble. And look, he's got a podium, so I'll have to give it to Copy.
Indeed, Copy. I am also there as well. I think he deserves that driver of the day. He drove exceptionally well, kept everything completely clean. To have only one warning is just phenomenal, especially on a track like this where warnings are very prevalent. And he did everything he needed to. So, from me and from the European Racing Series, thank you so much for a glorious season. European Racing Series, thank you for having me. I'll see you on the track. Love you too. Bye.